Hey guys, how are you? I hope this finds you well. So during my last video, we talked about fluoride and how we've been taught our entire lives that we need fluoride. And yet now I'm telling you that you don't need fluoride. So the presuming giant factor here is that not only is fluoride a neurotoxin, so hello, I don't want any toxins for my brain, but not only is it a neurotoxin, but it also disrupts the oral microbiome, which in fact then has an influence on what your GI microbiome is like, okay? So we know that we need to keep the body in good balance for it to function the way it's supposed to. So let's think about it this way. If we have a seesaw or a teeter-totter and all of our good bacteria have been wiped out, then what is going to take place? We're talking about the pathogenic or bad bacteria coming in and having their way. I always think about like the Wild West. And so if the Wild West had no sheriff, then guess what? It was lawless. But when the sheriff came into town, then guess what? Law was set in place and order began to take place. That's the way I feel about the oral microbiome. We have to keep those good bacteria. So in keeping those good bacteria, that means that we need to think about getting rid of the things that are not normally good in that. And fluoride is one of those. Chloride or chloride is one of those. Guess what? Chlorine is what we put in our pools in order to keep the bacteria gone. Well, guess what? It doesn't say, oh, this is a good bacteria and this is a bad bacteria and differentiate. It says, period. We're going to kill all the bacteria. So then we have a needs to be able to we don't have any balance. Everything is gone. Then the pathogenic bacteria have an ability to come in, just like I was talking about with that Wild West concept. The Wild West, if you don't have a sheriff, then guess what? Lawlessness is going to rule. So with all of that, we've got to get rid of the chlorides, the peroxides. Oh, I know peroxides do an awesome job whitening, but guess what? They get rid of our good microbiome. So chlorides, peroxides, and fluoride, all three of those things disrupt your oral microbiome. So you're nervous, aren't you? You're nervous about making the switch to a non-toxic, because that's what it is, a non-toxic toothpaste. So obviously, one thing that we can do is that we can help balance that teeter-totter, if you will, and increase our number of good bacteria so that our own body has a greater immune response to fight it. So you can use oral probiotics. One that I recommend strongly is Probiora. Another I recommend is by Stella Life. And it has, both of those have L-reuteri. L is lactobacillus, we all know that. Reuteri, R-E-U-T-E-R-I, reuteri. That good bacteria is something that is so essential in order for us to have the sheriff stay in town, if you will. So L-reuteri is super important. Look for a probiotic. Why? The more good we bring in, let's think about the sheriff coming along with his deputies, the better off we're going to be. Also, we have the common sense things. We need to make sure that we're reducing the overall amount of pathogenic bacteria in our mouth. What are we using? Are you brushing twice a day for 2 minutes each time? Are you using a water pick or a hydrofloss? That reduces a huge amount of bacteria in your mouth. Are we making sure that we're flossing? Yes, these are all normal common sense things, but if we're not doing those things, then we are just allowing our microbiome to be overtaken by whatever is survival of the fittest. So make sure you're doing those things and then use a toothpaste that's going to complement our oral microbiome. Anything that has xylitol as a sweetener and xylitol alone, that is a huge point. If you have any other type of erythritol, maltitol, mannitol, sorbitol, those act just like sugar. They attract bacteria, but xylitol has the ability to alkalinize. Guess what that means? No disease can exist. Alkalinize that oral cavity, and guess what? It doesn't bother the good bacteria. They're like, hey, cool, thanks for helping us. It's like a deputy that's coming alongside. So when you're considering ways to be able to take care of your health, let's take out things that are ruining our oral microbiome, add things that are helping our oral microbiome, and use products that are free of things that are also contributing that, such as peroxides, chlorides, and fluorides, and add some xylitol to your life. That is 100% xylitol, not a mix. Those two cancel out each other. Hope those things help, and I look forward to talking to you next time.